Previously, on the prologue episode of Mesozoic Isle, we explored the significance of dinosaurs in the setting of a museum, and then we discovered that dinosaurs are no longer a thing of the past, as we are introduced to the inhabitants of Mesozoic Isle. We also learned about the large-scale and top-secret operation behind these islands, and how this is all possible. But now with that all out of the way, it's time for the real show to finally begin. These are the waves of the Pacific Ocean. A grand, expansive canvas of blue. Shrouded in mystery, our world's oceans hide many secrets. However, not all of these secrets are hidden beneath the waves. Sometimes, to find its most incredible secrets, all you need is to look up. These are the shores of Mesozoic Isle, an island of wonder, mystery, and deception. From here, the island can appear normal, but looks can be deceiving. This island is ruled by creatures that went extinct millions of years ago, and they are now back thanks to incredible advances in science. But now we head inland to discover our destination, the place where our story begins. A wide forested valley, crawling with dinosaurs. Down in this dim, hidden world, you are exposed to much danger. And lurking amidst these trees is a carnivore. One of the largest and most fearsome predators to ever walk the planet. However, this is just a baby. His name is Redtooth, and he is a young Tyrannosaurus. For an animal with the destiny to grow into the king of the dinosaurs, Redtooth wasn't given a very strong start. He, like so many other dinosaurs on Mesozoic Isle, was created in a lab and released onto the island, meaning that he never got the chance to grow up with a family. This puts him at a dire disadvantage in experience, comfort, and protection. His chances don't look good. But the importance of his future is larger than anything he could imagine, and would have great impacts on the island. That's if he can survive long enough to do so. Redtooth will soon learn that even for a Tyrannosaurus, when you're this small, there's very little that won't try and kill you. But that's just how life is on Mesozoic Isle, where only the fittest will survive. This region is but one of many on the massive island of Mesozoic Isle. But there is one place in particular we will explore. A small territory on the upper southeast side of the island. This place is almost entirely cut off from the rest of Mesozoic Isle, and is where our story will begin. Surrounded by a formidable barrier of 4 mountains and a massive dense wall of trees, this ecosystem is a hidden fortress, a large bowl-shaped valley. Its name is Hidden Valley. The location is not the only unique thing about Hidden Valley. The ecosystem's assortment of fauna in the form of mesospecies are particularly interesting. There's an abnormally large variety of animals that can be found here in Hidden Valley. This mother and son iguanodon have fallen victim to the labyrinth of trees that guards Hidden Valley, and have wound up lost within its grasp. Thankfully, their bond is strong. They are inseparable. But the mother hasn't yet realized the danger this place holds. Mother begins to feed, completely unaware that they are being watched. Curious, her son explores the forest floor. But he goes just too far. By the time the mother heard his cries, it was too late. His mother, devastated. The killer, an adult male Tyrannosaurus primus, named Rex. One of the oldest dinosaurs on the island, he is extraordinarily experienced. Even when protected by his mother, the youngster had little chance against such an impressive carnivore. But Hidden Valley has yet more impressive secrets to be revealed. Now we reach the heart of this territory, Hidden Lake. The water supplied by this lake is the lifeblood of all animals who reside here. At some point or another, everyone comes to visit the lake. The mother iguanodon too comes to join the quench. Even during the darkest of times, this lake acts as a refuge for the animals of Hidden Valley, something they can depend on. A reliable source of water poses possibly the greatest sense of hope that these animals can receive. Still heavily distraught from the loss of her son, even simple everyday tasks like drinking become hard. Everything feels empty without him, but an inner force drives her to keep going. This mother is a welcome survivor. However, not every visitor to the lake is a welcomed one. The king of Hidden Valley has arrived. At over 40 feet long, this is Blue. A massive male Giganotosaurus totutimus and the apex predator of Hidden Valley. Even the mother iguanodon knows that everyone respects his space, and nothing stands in his way. But as intimidating as Blue is, an apex predator is critical to the health of any ecosystem. By early afternoon, we catch up with Redtooth, who is searching for a meal. Being a Tyrannosaurus forterius means that Redtooth was born in a lab, raised in a confined enclosure, and never had a family. Despite his rather urgent need for responsibility, Redtooth, fittingly for his age, would rather play around for a bit. Redtooth is a very special Tyrannosaurus, as the forterius species is what is known as a repair species, meaning his genes hold the future of his entire genus, and it's extremely important that he grows to be able to pass them on. But there's a lot to learn before he can do so, and he needs to realize that he isn't going to be getting help from anybody. Hidden Valley has maintained a beautifully balanced ecosystem for nearly a decade without fail. However, the recent winds carry with them a sense of change. Something's brewing in the distance. A force only delayed by time itself. A force destined to arrive. A force that will change Hidden Valley forever. Briskly moving through the underbrush, we find George, a Gorgosaurus. He's on the trail of something. He knows it's here. He just needs to see it. There it is, a lone Vegaceratops. Something must have separated him from the rest of his herd. He may have become ill and disoriented. Either way, he is definitely lost. And it hasn't gone unnoticed. Alone and vulnerable, he must keep his wits about him. But his compromised judgment betrays him. It's bold for a Gorgosaurus to take on a Ceratopsian. But his weakened prey barely puts up a fight. A disabling bite to the hindquarters, and a paralyzing bite to the neck. Yet George still finishes the job. George doesn't enjoy his prize for long. A newcomer, not from around here, and guests are not tolerated. This Albertosaurus knows better than to hang around, at least not while George is. By nightfall, George has already eaten his fill. He heads away from the carcass to rest for the night. But with morning's arrival comes an unpleasant awakening. The Albertosaurus is back. If a warning wasn't enough, then they'll just have to fight. A scavenger seizes his moment. The Albertosaurus becomes distracted. A critical mistake. The fall may have broken her ribs. Despite George's victory, his effort was in vain. All of the most valuable organs on the carcass are gone, and while there is more to be eaten, George knows well that larger carnivores are bound to show up. It simply isn't worth the risk of hanging around any longer. And once again, George searches for his next meal. A Saltosaurus is a rare sight on this side of the island, rarer still in Hidden Valley. In fact, sauropods in general are rare here, most likely due to just how difficult it is to enter the territory in the first place. This female, named Sugarplum, like other sauropods, spends most of her time eating. Plant material is very low in nutrients, and therefore large animals need a lot of it. But for a sauropod, a Saltosaurus is actually pretty small. And in a territory with large predators, that's a vulnerability. And no one wants to be vulnerable around the king. Luckily, without much more than a glance, Blue leaves. Perhaps he caught scent of a kill, or is simply in search of larger prey. But Blue is not one to be greedy, and Sugarplum leaves with her life. This next dinosaur is another uncommon one. Violet, a female Dilophosaurus, is one of the most elusive predators in the territory. Dilophosaurus are actually native to a completely different region of Mesozoic Isle. But similarly to Sugarplum, Violet has ended up in Hidden Valley, a phenomenon known as migrational displacement. And despite being small compared to other carnivores, Hidden Valley's thick assortment of trees provides just enough cover for her to hide from larger predators. But that doesn't mean that they won't still try and kill her. It seems the Albertosaurus is still feeling short-winded after her fight with George, much to Violet's relief. But this goes to show just how much trouble a simple unannounced newcomer can cause. Even more elusive still, nearly perfectly camouflaged into the trees and underbrush. Deep within the forest, he is virtually impossible to find. This is Manny, a Massospondylus, possibly the most elusive animal in all of Hidden Valley. He, like Violet, is one of a kind on this part of the island. He is even native to the same area. He may not look the part, but Massospondylus are what are known as prosauropods, early relatives of the massive long-necked dinosaurs. As they evolved, prosauropods' long necks would get even longer. Their arms would become front legs. Their feet would become round to support more weight. And their tails would become lengthy and formidable weapons. But Manny is still but a glimmer of that legendary design. And in this world, he is vulnerable. Even baby Redtooth could be seen as a threat. But we know better. For Manny, obscurity is his best and only true ally. Little do they know, but for the residents of Hidden Valley, this was one of their last relatively normal days of life in the territory. The grim destiny of Hidden Valley approaches from far past even the furthest reaches of Mesozoic Isle. A bellowing beast, created by a distant and disregarded demon, charges for Mesozoic Isle and all who inhabit it. The mighty dinosaurs once again are held at the mercy of the Great Mother's wrath. A massive freak storm smashes into Mesozoic Isle, resulting in explosive damage and casualties. But beyond nature's great show of power lies a more sinister fate. The greatest danger of this storm isn't the storm at all. It's what follows. A shift in the balance of ecosystems across Mesozoic Isle. Worst of all, Hidden Valley's own balance of power will be put to the test. When a mass influx of animals enter the territory. An ordeal only the fittest will survive. Next time on Mesozoic Isle, we catch up with the residents of Hidden Valley and discover the ones we haven't met yet. We watch in awe as they are introduced to their new guests and the surprises they bring with them. We'll observe how all of the animals of Hidden Valley will be put to the test. And maybe we'll catch a glimpse of who is fit enough to survive it.